Hi, this is Mick Elliott from Electronic Specifier at Embedded World. I am on the Mouser stand with Mark Burr-Lonnon, the Senior Vice President, Global Sales for Mouser. Mark, thanks for joining us. Maybe first of all, could you just give us an update on how Q1's looking at Mouser and how it's looking generally in trends in the distribution and semiconductor industry?
Yeah, Mick, no problem. And first of all, great to see you. It's always the first one of this whole event every time, so really pleased to be here.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting last 6 months, to be honest. I mean, it started slowing down through last year. We expected Q1 to be quiet like last year, but we've seen signs of pickup in the last couple of months, which is good. Which is kind of nice. I mean, like everyone, I think we've all got a hockey stick budget this year for Q3 and Q4 when we expect it to pick up a lot more. So the industry is headed in the right direction. It's probably headed more slowly in the right direction than we all predicted a year ago, but I think signs are now that it's looking good right across the board. We're certainly seeing on the IP&E side, it's coming back a little bit quicker. But as we all know, that the semiconductors, once they come back with a bang. And we're seeing that with some of the memory pricing already, and we'll see it with a lot more things as we go through the year, I think so.
In terms of product availability now, is that back to the norm?
Pretty much so. I mean, lead times mostly across the board are pretty good. I mean, we're kind of lucky. Well, not lucky. We did it ourselves. We put $2 billion of inventory on the shelf, so we're kind of buffered from what's happening. But no, lead times we're seeing certainly on the IP&Es. We've seen the lead times now start rising again, but really they've been pretty normal for a while now, and they're not rising a lot. So I think that's okay. The semiconductors are just beginning to turn a little bit. Who knows whether that's a turn and keeps on going or whether just it's a slight turn because of where we are. But, we're pretty buoyant about things going forward. We're not shouting from the rooftops, but it's looking okay.
And in terms of the regional markets, the Americas, Europe, Asia Pacific, is there any trends there or any particular one that's growing faster than others?
Yeah, I think every time I've met you, Mick, at any of these events, Europe's always been the fastest growing region. I have to say this time it's not. So for us, it's actually the Americas has been strong. A lot of that's on the back of middle and aerospace, and there's a lot of people in the world right now, and there's lots of wars which are happening, and that tends to drive a lot of that. So for us, the Americas is leading the way. Europe is in second place. Had a real tough back end of the year. Has had not a fantastic start to the year, but going in the right direction. And Asia's still pretty soft. So, whereas a few years ago when we were going, balls to the wall, probably don't want to put that bit in, but, things were really, really good in all three regions. It never happens that all three regions run well at the same time. But certainly at the minute, we're seeing America's okay, Europe showing signs of improvement, but really not where we'd like it to be, and Asia still bumbling along the bottom, yeah.
Okay, in terms of Europe, are there any particular applications, technologies that are coming back in Europe? And secondly, are you confident Asia Pacific can come back from some of the the economic and political issues out there?
Yeah, I'll start with Asia. I think Asia can come back. I mean, there's too much which is happening in Asia for it not to come back. Funny, we're actually seeing a huge upside in India right now. I mean, a lot of people seem to be putting things up in India. The market's very strong. We're just about to launch local currency in India, so that we think could take us another step forward in the market. But it's hard to find bright spots, to be honest, in Asia apart from India right now. Australia for us is looking good. We just launched a new office down there. China is still tough. Hong Kong, which is of course China, that's still tough. Japan is still tough. And then back into Europe, we got a few markets which are good. Spain's pretty good right now. Poland's pretty good. Sweden, I think, was quite good. But when we look at Germany, which is the one that drives so much of the business in Europe, I mean, Germany's in a recession and it's not helping our numbers or anybody else. And UK's doing okay. France not too bad. So it's a bit of a mishmash, but I think Europe will come back strong at the back end of the year.
Okay, so yeah, overall we're looking at a stronger second half that will push the market along.
Yeah, I mean, we predict the second half's going to be good. I mean, everyone predicted the inventory which everybody has on the shelves is going to disappear by end of Q2. But they also said that was going to be the same last year, so who knows? But certainly I think that by Q3, most of the inventory with a lot of people is going to be eaten up, and a lot of new orders are going to come through. We've seen very few companies go bust, and we got 850,000 customers, and it's almost a surprise with the whole inventory issue. We haven't seen more people go to the wall. So it seems like people are getting inventory, they're hanging on. And those who have a lot of inventory really are eating it up, and they're going to start ordering at some point. And we think Q3 and Q4 are going to be when it's going to happen.
Just moving on to control and automation products, what's the progress there at Mouser?
Yeah, pretty good. We're adding new lines, so we throughout this year we continually add more lines in that area. With the lines we already have, we're just going deeper into those. The interesting thing for us is it's shipping semiconductors and passives and capacitors around the world in, I always call them pizza boxes, it's a case of whether they're small, medium or large pizza boxes, which we ship from the one warehouse in Texas. Some of the parts on that are a lot heavier, so we're focusing a lot on the ones, firstly, that we know we can ship pretty easily in the right size boxes, and we can get them around the world very quickly, because that's really what we're good at and that's what we do. So
yeah, okay. And what will be the solutions to the bigger items going forward?
Well, I mean, at some point, I guess we'll probably have to look at some kind of warehousing at some point, some kind of solution, whether it's us or via some logistics company on some of those products. But it depends how deep we get into it and which products we get into. We don't have any dates of doing anything, but on the very heavy parts, either we choose to not sell them, the customer chooses to pay the shipping, which could be very high, or we look at some kind of solution. So we're just working that one through right now.
But right now, there's a lot of potential, as you say, in going deeper in some of the lines you've got, I guess, in interconnect and relay and switches and areas like that.
Yeah, I mean, those areas are growing very fast. I mean, that whole EMEC area in that part of the market is growing very strongly. So we're pleased to see that. And the lines we've been added, again, we got some nice banner lines which we've added in the last year, and we keep adding lines every month. So
just talk to us a little bit about what Mouser's doing in terms of smoothing the customer's path via e-commerce.
Well, I mean, from an e-commerce standpoint, I mean, we spend a lot of time making sure that the website is as good as it can be, and it's a never-ending vehicle to get right. So, we tend not really to look too much about the competition in our industry, but really look at the world leaders in web technology and what we need to do. So, I think our website's right up there. It's either the best or one of the best, and that's we're pleased to have that. But we do new things with it every day, and we continue doing that. It's we'll never get to the end game on that. We just keep on improving it.
Okay, but the transition from looking at the products on the Mouser website, deciding what you want, and then getting to buy them is pretty smooth and seamless right now.
Yeah, it's very seamless, and we worked a lot on the languages. So I think we just went live with Latvia or something with Latvian. So when you get down to Latvian, you're really doing okay. So we covered all the big ones a long time ago, and we're now down to Latvian. So no disrespect to our friends in Latvia, but from a language standpoint, that shows how far we've gone.
Well, it's pretty terrific. That you actually recognise as a local language there. Not make the assumption they all speak English.
Well, yeah, I mean we've really done that from the beginning. From a customer service standpoint, that we've opened the 29 offices around the world. A couple of weeks back, I was in Australia. They speak English, sort of, so that's good.
Righto, mate.
We recognise pretty early on that local people like to talk to local people, and in websites you have to have them in local language. And all those things make a really big difference. And at the end of the day, it's not all about a website. It's about having a really good website, having a really good local customer service team and the two working together to offer people in the market what they want. So,
I mean, you mentioned just opening in Australia. Are there any other areas you'd like to get into around the world?
I think some of it now gets to second offices. So what I mean by that is that you have an office in Shanghai. We probably need another one when the market picks up in China. In India now we have two. We have one in Bangalore and we have one in Pune. Again, there's an argument that maybe we need three in India as India starts to pick up. So, I mean, local people, it gets much more local in some big countries. It's kind of easy in the US where everyone speaks the same language and the same culture. It gets very different in places like India and China where having different offices across the country make a big difference.
And just turning to, I know you've been expanding the warehouse. Can you just give us an update on where you are with the distribution centres?
Yeah, kind of exciting. So before we started building the new warehouse, we had a billion square feet of warehousing, and we're going to double the capacity, and that's coming on really well. So we think that'll be on stream probably late Q2. All the walls are up, the inside is done. We're waiting for very stupid things like elevators to be put into the building, but really, most of the inside is done. Then obviously we have to put some inventory in it, but by mid-year I think we're looking pretty good, and that's going to help, I think. And I think we might have timed it just right because having double capacity just as the market's about to pick up will put us in pretty good stead. So,
Okay, Mark Burr-Lonnon, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mick.